So in this video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be helping you pitch like a boss. We're going to hit the problem. We're going to sell the problem. And then we're going to come along and say, hey, here's what my product or service can do for you. All right, so as we take a look at this graphic on how you're going to pitch like a boss, always remember you are trying to solve a problem. You're trying to present an opportunity. You are trying to make sure people come from pain to whatever it is you're trying to get them into, right? So your thing, whatever you're presenting to your audience, whatever you're presenting to your investors, whatever you're presenting on stage, you have to very quickly hit the problem. What's going on? Now, you got to talk about how your product is going to solve that problem, how your product is going to relieve that pain, how your problem is going to make people feel better than they've ever felt before, or be better than all their neighbors, or whatever it is. You now have to hit it. If you have a restaurant, like Donald Miller talked about, right? If you read the book, Donald Miller's book talked about how you can enter into a story so that you could tell people, hey, you know how there's just not a lot of selection of food to eat here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, let's say? Well, what our business does is we solve that by. Now, you're entering into a story by suspending their judgment. You don't go right into the problem statement. You says, hey, I want to tell you a story. You don't say story, but you're just exactly what you're doing. Now, you have to immediately go over to, hey, and we're solving this problem for who is your customer. Now, think about it. Your thing is in the middle. You're hitting the problem statement, and we're going to take this thing clockwise. Let's talk about your customer. I need to know that. Your judges are looking at you, and they're asking, okay, well, who are you serving? Well, what I found was from the ages of 25, female, male, mothers with children, mothers that don't have children, mothers, all these different customer types, right? You start talking about that. Who are your customers, and kind of how do you know? Well, what we did was we did a survey, we did a poll, I did some stuff online, we went to our competition and we saw whatever it is. Now you're saying we're solving the problem for this customer. Now, as your marketing message, you're going to be talking to them about how are you getting all this information out to your customers? What channels are you using? Are you running ads? Are you doing it organically? Are you doing it word of mouth? That becomes your marketing message. But here what's happening. Pitching like a boss is saying, hey, I have the solution to the problem. I know exactly who my customer is, and now here's how I'm going to reach my customer's ears. You guys see what I'm saying here? Now, problem, customer, marketing message. You've shown who you're pitching to, how you're going to get it to them. Now we have to talk about who else is already doing this. Because, hey, if you have no competition, you might not have a market. You guys get that? If you have no competition, you might not have a market. You want competition because what has happened is that there has been an idea that I got some people over here, but that's good because you can go to your competition and find out what they're charging. You find out how they're delivering their information. You can find out all these things, a whole bunch of good intelligence. So you talk about your competition because the judges are going to want to know who's out there already doing this. And they're going to make some determinations. But then you very quickly, we don't take too much time to talk about the competition. We just says, hey, here's who we found that are already out there doing it. But what we do is, and then you get into how you're doing it better. Now, when you go over to your numbers, you're getting ready to dismount this thing. You talk about, hey, here's what we found. If we're able to, from the competition, get a segment of this marketplace, with how we're delivering our stuff, the way we deliver it, and how you see what's happening here to our 25 to 35-year-olds, whomever that range is. You now talk about what those numbers could look like. Have enough graphics up there that you don't get people into too much of it, but that you're very easily able to explain it. If you complicate it, you get too many graphs and all that kind of stuff, you're going to lose your audience. And we don't want to lose the audience. What we want to do is we want to show them very quickly, if you're able to steal this amount from your competition and you're delivering it at this price point, bringing in your costs, now they can very quickly see that you have a sustainable business. You talk about your break-even points. It's all work that you've already done. You maybe bring out the graph that shows, hey, listen, if I sell 25 of these in 1 month, I break even. If I sell 10 of these in a month, I break even. This is what we found, that in months, April, May, June, July, we're going like gangbusters, but then here's when it gets slow. But what we've done is, from those other months, we've reserved our cash. Now you see what's happening here. You have literally talked about the problem, shown your judges who you're going to serve, shown how you're going to get it to them in a marketing way, told how you're going to whoop up on the competition, and then you have your numbers down cold. And then you say, hey, thank you for your time. And I say to you, thank you for your time. This is how you pitch like a boss. What Rob and I are going to be doing is we're going to be showing you how to pitch like a boss. We're going to show you how to command your space, how to get immediate respect just from your posture. Rob is a commander. He has commanded and he has led troops. So he knows how to come into a room and command that room without commanding it from your voice. You do it with your body. You do it the way you're standing. You do it with the way you're breathing. And you are now presenting an air of confidence, someone to be listened to, and someone to be respected. You can't ask for respect. Your body language has to do it. How are you doing it? Are you speaking to the people, or are you speaking at them? Are you trying to emotionalize? Are you trying to conjure up an emotion that then it gets people into a state where they go, I gotta hear what they have to say next? That's what you're doing when you're pitching your product and you come into the room. You're solving a problem. You don't speak to the solution. You speak to the problem. Now, what Donald Miller talked about in his book is how you come on and says, hey, well, you know how what he's doing is he's telling you to start dealing with and solving the problem first, not bring your solution. I do, I can do for you. Those are all coming out with solutions, and nobody cares about that. But when you come out and says, let me tell you the problem we're having with, let me tell you what I found, and now you got their attention. Now you have people looking at you like, hey, what is he doing? What is she doing? And you are positioning yourself. Let me tell you what I found. Here's the big problem. Here's what we have to solve. Here's the solution after you talk about and sell on the problem. Now, because you are pitching, because you have created something, put a lot of time in, again, they don't care about that. Unless you can relate all of that back to, now this is the key, you can relate all of that back to that time, that energy, that focus, and how it helps them. Hey, I put in a whole bunch of time. I have read all the books. I've gone to all the seminars, so you don't have to. Now, what I've been able to do is condense it down into a way you can.
So, hi everybody. Thank you, Randy, for including me in this. I really appreciate being able to speak to the business owners out there who are trying to develop command presence, who are trying to understand how to pitch in a way that gets people to listen to you, in a way that gets people to pay attention, and not only pay attention, but to want to actually help you to make your dream come true. Now, we're going to talk about a number of different things. We're going to talk about how to pitch, how to speak, how to stand. But before we get to any of that, I need you to understand that more important than what you do, more important than what you say, is what you think. It's so imperative that you control what's going on in your mind. You have to be the first believer. There's a phrase that I want you to internalize, and that phrase is be, do, have. Again, be, do, have. You see, so many people focus on the process of doing, and they think that if they do the right things, then they'll have the things that they want that allow them to become the person that they want to be. But it's exactly the opposite. You have to first become that person. You have to see yourself as that person. You have to believe that you are worthy. You have to believe that you are worthy of people listening to you. You have to believe that you are capable of standing and commanding a room. You have to believe that what you're doing is important. You have to believe that what you're doing already right now, before you learn how to stand up straight, before you learn how to project, before you learn how to do anything else, you have to believe that it is worth it, that you are worth it, that your idea is worth it. And once you can become that person who has that idea, then you will do the things that you need to do so you can have the things that you want. And so we have to be focused on be, do, have. You see, when I was training to become a Marine Corps officer, United States Marine Corps officer, one of the first things that they taught us was not how to develop command presence, but they taught us about what a Marine Corps officer was and why command presence was necessary. They taught us about the fact that leaders eat last. They taught us about the fact that leaders lead from the front. They taught us who we were becoming, and they told us that's who you have to be if you want to command Marines. And then we went through the process of learning how to shout, learning how to project, learning how to walk into a room, learning how to stand firmly. But the first thing was we had to become that person because Marines would smell the false bravado and the fakeness and the inauthenticity a mile away. And so as you're learning how you can project, how you can own the room, and how you can pitch like a boss, the first thing that I need you to do is make sure that you do the work to believe. Now, Randy has a number of tools for increasing the amount of positive affirmations that you can say to yourself and appropriate mind work and mindfulness that you can do. So look to the resources that are part of this program. Look to the things that he has online because you can definitely improve your mental even if you're still scared of getting up in front of a group, even if you still are, not sure about how you're going to put together your pitch, what you can start working on today is how you see yourself because you have to become that business owner that is worthy of people investing in you, that is worthy of people putting their hard-earned money or putting their time into your belief in your business. And once you become that person, doing the things that you need to do and ultimately getting the results that you want will be easy. Talk to you soon.